slurp on your jelly sticks and get super snatched for summer. In other words, guys, it's a laxative. One of the ingredients is cancerous. And somebody replied, "Oh, well, I'd rather be debloated. I'm going to eat it anyway." That's what we're dealing with here, people. Okay, I don't know about you, but have you noticed that ever since Instagram became really popular, there's always been some type of health or wellness trend that's being pushed to us? Typically, it has to do with weight loss. We've seen debloat teas, appetite suppressing lollipops, skinny coffees. There's always something being pushed out to us that promises insane results with very little to no effort. And it's always backed, by a celebrity endorsement or an influencer. And maybe I'm naive, but I honestly thought we were past that the toxic wellness trends when it comes to social media and influencers and celebrities. I thought that we collectively outgrew that as a society, but apparently I was wrong. Because now we have cutting jellies, and they're basically making the same promises as all of those scammy wellness products from the past. Except this time, they're dressed up as a cute little gummy snack. And I've definitely been seeing these pop up for a while now, but it wasn't until a Kardashian jumped on the trend, being paid, of course, that I was like, this needs to be talked about because nobody's really talking about it. But also, I promise we're not going to talk about the Kardashians for the entire video, just a small portion. I know that you guys don't like celebrity stuff on here, and I totally get it. I'm kind of over it too. But today, I want to get into what cutting jellies actually are, and more importantly, whether this is something we should be concerned about on a bigger level. Because even if the product itself seems harmless, I think it raises a bigger question. Are we just repackaging toxic diet culture all over again? Let's get into it. And a quick little disclaimer. I know this topic, diet, weight loss, it can be triggering for some people. So if you want to step out of this video, I totally get it. We're not going to be diving into anything too specific, but I still get it if it's something that you wanna skip out on. I do have a lot of opinions, as I'm sure you do too, and I'd love to hear it, but just about where we're going, I feel like, as a society and how it feels like we're backtracking back to, like, the early 2000s, conversation around health and wellness. Not that we really called it that back then, but if you grew up during the early 2000s, if you were alive during this time, you were even an adult, like, you know what I'm talking about. It was toxic. There's no other way to put it. It was toxic. And I definitely want to touch on that a little bit here in the video. But I even just like today, I saw something pop up. It was an old, I don't know if it was like OK Magazine, Star Magazine, I don't know, one of the magazines. And it was something from, I would assume 2005, 2006, and it was Britney Spears. I don't know if she was at a show or what she was doing. I'll pop it up here on the screen, but they were just saying like her weight's out of control, her diet's out of control, this and that, and she looks completely healthy. But like that's how it was back then. If you know, you know, and if you don't, be glad you don't. We don't need to go back to that. We do not need to go back to that. It was not a good time. All that to be said, I just want to tread lightly on the conversation. And it's why I don't really talk about this type of thing on my channel, but I do think this is an important discussion. Like I said, I started seeing these cutting jellies getting more popular on TikTok of all the places. And then I saw Kylie Jenner endorse it, and I was like, we need to talk about this. I need to talk about this with somebody. I'm talk about with you guys. Let's chat about it. Okay, so first, if you do not know what this is, what the product is, it's called a cutting jelly, and it's from the brand Foodology. Though there are a lot of other similar products from different companies that are out there. And you can get this on Amazon. You can get a 10-pack for $22, which means each jelly is $2.20. And of course, you can get it on the TikTok shop. That's where a lot of people are selling it. They're shilling it out there because they're getting their commission. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. So it's not just Amazon. I'm seeing it pushed on TikTok honestly every single day, I feel like. But anyway, that price, $2.20 for a little packet of jelly. That's a steep price. So let's see exactly what it promises and what it's made of. So it is a gel based South Korean dietary supplement that has been nicknamed Korean Ozempic. It's supposed to reduce bloating, aid digestion, and curb cravings. It contains Garcinia cambogia extract, pomegranate concentrate, chia seeds, probiotics, and fiber. It's not meant to be a meal replacement. Nobody should be using it as a meal replacement, but it's kind of like instead of snacking, like a substitute to snacking, I think you're supposed to eat it. I've seen some people say they eat it before a meal or after a meal, and you're supposed to have between 1 and 2 a day. So that's just a quick, bit of background in case if you had no idea what this was and just saw people slurping, 'cause they do, all the influencers slurp it. We had the tapping, and now we have the slurping. I don't know what I hate more. The slurping. I hate the slurping more. So that's what it is. We're going to be talking about if it works or not later in the video, not just hearing from our favorite influencers whether or not it worked for them. We're going to get actual doctors weighing in on this to see, do these jellies actually work? Is this really a miracle in a packet? We'll see. But first, I wanted to show you guys the video that really put it on the map. It's been gaining traction for a while, but it wasn't until a Kardashian got their hands on it that it really got very, very popular over the last couple of weeks.
Like, what? I just got ready for my last fitting before my event tomorrow. I've added a new favorite to my routine.
Real quick, she's not saying, guys, I'm getting paid a boatload of money for this. All it says is, these are amazing. And she tagged the brand Foodology US. But it's like, she's just like, this is my new favorite. Here's all the things, here's all the claims. It's like, it's an ad.
Pomegranate flavored cutting jelly. This is not a typical jelly, it's a cutting jelly for like digestion, debloating. Like, what? My goal is to snack less for the new year. I've been bringing these everywhere. These little dots are chia seeds. So good. Going to my fitting in my latex dress, obviously.
Okay, so she's basically saying, I'm going to my fitting. This is my last hoorah to fit into my dress because that's how she did it. You know, she ate these jellies and she is the size that she is. Not hating on Kylie Jenner, she does look amazing. She continues to look, I feel like, better every day, but we know it's not the jellies that are doing that. But really, we shouldn't be all that surprised that Kylie is promoting this. Her whole family, they have been like the conductors of this train of the toxic wellness products that are being pushed out to us. They've done the teas, the lollipops, all of it. Which I mean, whatever. But I don't like how she's not disclosing that it's an ad. TikTok is a lot more lax on people disclosing that. I feel like you don't have to on TikTok, or I don't know, with YouTube, you definitely do. With TikTok, I see that all the time where it's very clearly an ad, but they're not saying, like, hey, this place reached out to me and I'm getting paid to do this. Whatever. Anyway, the comments were all over the place. A lot of people were intrigued by it and they wanted to try it for themselves. But there were also many comments calling her out for promoting something like this, calling it irresponsible, not to mention completely unnecessary. I mean, isn't Kylie like the richest of the Kardashian group? Like, I think she's a billionaire now. And she's out here pushing out, like, gimmicky diet stuff. Like, th that you don't need to do that. Why are you doing that? I saw somebody on Reddit said that I can't believe that even in the US, it's legal to advertise laxatives for weight loss. This is so twisted and predatory. And what absolute trash person promotes ED for money when they already have more than anyone could spend in a lifetime? But look, it's not just Kylie promoting this. Like I said, I've been seeing more and more people on TikTok just talking about the wonders of this jelly. Like, it is just, this is going to change your life, basically. If as long as you click their affiliate link, because that's very important. But let's watch some of these ads quick.
I was not sure how I was going to feel about the texture, but pomegranate flavored, full of chia seeds. I love it. If you're backed up and bloated, apparently this red jelly stick from Korea is supposed to completely wash you out. It's full of collagen, elastin, and hyaluronic acid, so it's good for your skin and your gut health. It tastes so good, and it doesn't need to be refrigerated. It's a GLP-2 girly. Girl needs help with the poop. Let's see if it does what it says it's gonna do. It worked, and now I'm hooked. Garcinia cambogia. The ingredients support all your wellness goals. Can't say exactly what it is because, TikTok. Everyone's experience may vary. You should check with your own medical team before starting any new supplement. I'm loving these, and they worked quick. I'm here for it. I'm going to go ahead and drop them at the little orange shopping cart for you because they're on sale.
I mean, at least she's saying to consult your doctor first. Kylie's just like, out here doing it like she just found it on her own. At least she's saying, talk to a doctor first.
If you're wondering if those cutting jellies that you're seeing all over your For You page actually work, just look at this before and after. This was taken a month apart and just look at the difference in the blow. This thing freaking works. This is Korean, has chia seeds, hyaluronic acid, and collagen, and a ton of other good stuff in here. And if you thought Korean skincare is good, wait until you try their health and wellness stuff. You only need 1 stick a day, and I got the 30-day supply because it's on sale right now. Only is this gonna help with the bloat, indigestion, and just your overall gut health. It's also gonna help with your skin looking more glowy, radiant, and more youthful. This is my skin right after cleansing. Not even a single drop of skincare has touched my skin, and look how glowy it is. And this is why the Korean girls have that glass skin, and it's all because of these cutting jellies right here. And if it's from Korea, just know that you're getting the best of the best, and these cutting jellies are literally it.
Notice it's on sale right now. That's what the last lady said. It's on sale right now, so I'm gonna link it for you guys. It's on sale right now. At least this person's also, they're saying with Pilates 3 times a week. That's important. She's not hiding it. Like, she did that, but she's also doing other things that could contribute to the results that she saw in a month. So that's, again, it's quite the results that this jelly stuff is promising, and what a lot of people on TikTok are saying that it's helping them with. This girl, had a month a before and after picture from a month apart, and it's helping to sell the product. This person said, I really hope you're telling the truth about bloating because you just influenced me to buy a 30-day supply. Someone else said, please do your own research before buying any random product because someone told you it works. Look into all the supplements and find the benefits and possible side effects. But yeah, I mean, I saw just so many of these videos, and none of them were from people who were just talking about their real results from it. Do you know what I mean? Every single person also had the product linked on their TikTok shop. So it's like, are you actually using it? But I even saw, like, there was one video I saw where I think the girl said that she was doing a challenge of losing like 6 pounds in 10 days using the jelly packs, which it's like, that's not a sustainable weight loss. Okay? Not saying I'm an expert. But losing 6 pounds in 10 days, if that's happening, it's water weight, so, like, it's again, it's just being deceptive, I feel like. It's these jelly packs are kind of, like, promising people these amazing, just insane results all by eating this jelly pack. It's like, "No, that's not how it works." Or maybe it is, like I said, I didn't know if they did or if they didn't, and so I went and I did some research. Can you skip the diet? Can you just do these jelly packets? Can you, slurp on your jelly sticks and get super snatched for summer? I wondered, and I call me crazy, but I wasn't gonna take the word of random people promoting it on their TikTok shop on TikTok. I know, crazy. I decided to do my own research. And no, I did not buy the sticks. I was like, mm-mm, not doing that. There's another way though. There's another way that I can get my answers. Google. And you know what? It took me less than 5 minutes to find actual backed up, you know, no pun intended, but information that was backed up from professionals that this is snake oil. So, a professor of gastroenterology at Harvard, also he's an MD, was asked about these jelly packets specifically, and basically if what people are claiming with these packets, if it actually works. So there's people out there on TikTok telling people that these jelly packets block carbs, which your body needs, by the way, for energy. Carbs are energy, but they block carbs. from turning into fat. Which I mean, if true, if this magical jelly really did block carbs from turning into fat, I feel like it would cost a heck of a lot more than $2.20 a pop. We wouldn't need to diet, we wouldn't need to exercise, like we'd all be living our best lives, right? But according to this, Harvard professor slash doctor, this is the real story. He's not on TikTok. He doesn't have an affiliate link. He's just telling you what he knows. So take that for what it's worth. He does not have TikTok as his background. He has Harvard. He has an MD. Let's see what he has to say. He said the short answer is no. You cannot effectively block carbs. The idea behind carb blockers is that certain plant extracts supposedly inhibit enzymes that break down carbohydrates, so you absorb fewer calories. In practice, the effect in humans is very minimal to non existence. So, no, there is not a supplement that actually prevents you from digesting carbs in a significant, reliable, or safe way. The carb blocking claim is more of a marketing hook more than a physiologic reality. He went on to say that the stomach has a natural rhythm of emptying. Fiber may slow down that rhythm. He also went on to say, in other words, swallowing a bunch of gel could create a sensation of fullness, not because of any magical ingredient, but because of a few basic bulking agents and sugar substitutes. The ingredient list is a mix of fruit concentrates, lab additives, and animal extracts. But really, it's fiber, water, and fake sugar, which causes what he referred to as a clean out effect. In other words, guys, it's a laxative, basically. And again, it took me less than 5 minutes, like way less than 5 minutes to find this information. Um, Yet that's just another reason that you really shouldn't be going off of what someone on TikTok is telling you. I feel like any time that someone on TikTok is trying to, you know, sell you something basically with all these scientific claims, they have that little shopping cart icon above the title of the video. You just run. Run. Because again, they're making a commission. They are going to say what they have to say in order to make a commission. A lot of these accounts, when you click on them, they every single video they're out there selling some random product from the TikTok shop. Quite frankly, I feel like that's all that TikTok is becoming, is just stuff from the TikTok shop that people are trying, saying that it worked for them. But okay, so not only is it a laxative, it also has some kind of questionable ingredients that we as humans are not encouraged to be consuming often, let alone every single day. Sometimes twice a day for some of these people, they're claiming at least. Something that I found interesting is one of the main ingredients, that Garcinia cambogia. In 2009, the FDA requested the withdrawal of it from the hydroxycut range following reports of liver, muscle, and cardiac damage. And I feel like I have this like memory coming to me of a hydroxycut commercial being pushed out, and it was just like a diet something or another trying to get women to buy into to lose weight, and now it's like, come to find out, there's all this there were all these scary harmful effects by doing that.
So the main ingredient is Garcinia cambogia, which is a tropical fruit extract that contains hydroxycitric acid, which in theory could lower fat and curb appetite, but that didn't bear out in the data. So most of the studies showed at best a 1 to 2 pound weight loss. That really wasn't sustained. And then there was another ingredient I saw in there that's worth talking about called maltodextrin. Maltodextrin is a highly processed starch. It was originally developed to replace eggs and mayonnaise and other products like that to make them easier and cheaper to produce. But maltodextrin has metabolic consequences when you consume it. It spikes your blood sugar more than table sugar, and it disrupts your microbiome in your gut, and it just has all kinds of complications when you consume it. But in short, it's a product that should be avoided. And finally, there's the artificial sweeteners. It's a blend of artificial sweeteners that's in there. There's quite a few of them, but they've been known, and the research is clear that artificial sugars cause insulin spikes, all kinds of different metabolic consequences. So while they're zero sugar, they're actually not good for you at all. Particularly erythritol. Recently, there was a study that came out that it increased cardiovascular risk. So avoid artificial sweeteners, and if I would probably avoid this product.
But even though that ingredient, it's still legal in the US, it's still, the FDA has gotten a ton of reports of people who had adverse reactions to it. So, yeah, not something maybe to be consuming often. And that's really the thing. People on TikTok specifically, they don't really think like, could there be some side effects to this? Some possible negative things that could happen if I consume this. They just see some random person that they don't even know be like, "You have to buy this. I lost, 25 pounds by ingesting this." Like, and they're just like, "Cool, let me try it." It's like it's one thing if you see somebody, selling you something that's a product, right? On TikTok Shop and it's like something for your car or something for your phone. Okay, go for it. But something you're ingesting? I just feel like that would require a little more thought, not just blindly trusting what some rando on TikTok is telling you. Like, common sense, I would think. But people on TikTok, a lot of them, I noticed, just don't, they don't give an F. They do not give an F. I actually saw a comment under a cutting jelly promotion, ad video where someone wrote, one of the ingredients is cancerous. And somebody replied, oh, well, I'd rather be debloated. I'm going to eat it anyway. What? You'd rather ingest something that is known to well, or that could possibly cause cancer, but it's gonna make you look snatched, and that's more important? That's what we're dealing with here, people. Now, I'm not even sure what that original poster was referring to when they said that something was linked to cancer. I'm not sure if they were confused with the Garcinia it's so hard for me to say it, Garcinia cambogia, uh, if they were getting confused with that because that causes a lot of negative or possibly causes negative can't speak, negative side effects. It doesn't really matter because the point is there's clearly an audience out there that feeds into these wellness products and they do not care about doing research. They don't care about any potential dangerous things that can come about it. They don't care enough to do their own research. All they care about is looking good. And to me, that's a really scary mindset. Um, but it's the mindset that these gimmicky products cater to. People who do not think first, they just act on impulse. And so the thing is, the product is it's pretty new. There's not a ton of research to back up the potential long-term side effects of that could possibly happen if you ingest this every single day for a long period of time. There's just not enough research. It's still, becoming fairly popular. So I feel like we can't have like an evidence-based conversation about this, but something that we can talk about is a bigger picture issue still, which is just the fact that the products like this are being promoted to the masses on platforms like TikTok. One of the main problems that I personally have with this is seeing somebody like Kylie Jenner promoting a cutting jelly, basically almost implying that this is even remotely connected to how she looks. Because we all know that's not realistic. Again, not hating on Kylie. She looks great. But the cutting jelly is not what made her look the way that she did. A lot of money, a great plastic surgeon, sure, diet and exercise were all contributing factors. The jelly was not. So it's misleading. It's very, very misleading. But a younger audience, they don't see it that way, right? They're not able to kind of like step back and see things for what it is. They're much more easily persuaded into purchasing these gimmicky products, hoping that they can even just get a small sliver of the look of, one of their favorite influencers. And instead of learning how to actually fuel their bodies, like eating real food, getting carbs, fats, protein, fiber, nutrients, moving your body, the message is basically like, nope, skip all of that and just snack on a jelly that's going to clean you out. And when I continue to see this being pushed out more and more on places like TikTok, and I just keep thinking, what is that actually teaching younger people or people that are impressionable? What is that teaching them in the long run? What is that potentially setting them up for in the long run? And when I was looking up, what people were saying about all this, I did see a comment that somebody, they were talking about specifically about Kylie promoting it. And they said EDs are mainstream again. I know that's not the only reason for laxatives, but she's not promoting this for constipation. And someone else replied, I was going to say the same thing. People who need laxatives to be used as intended for legitimate health reasons typically are not getting their advice from unqualified influencers on social media. As someone who used to abuse laxative 10 plus years ago, I'm sad to see that this is becoming socially acceptable. And that's kind of the thing. Like, I remember when I was in high school, Uh, there were girls who were using laxatives regularly, you know? And it was pretty common. It wasn't openly accepted and talked about how it's these jellies are kind of what they're sort of pushing more towards, but a lot of girls were struggling. They were doing this quietly to achieve this skinny physique that they were seeing in the media. And again, if you grew up in this time, if you lived during this time and you remember, you know that the messaging being pushed out, we didn't have social media back then, but the messaging being pushed out by magazines wasn't just thin, it was dangerously thin.
The biggest concern with Cassie for me was the size of her hips. I just want to measure your thighs just to see where we're at.
Got the best body here.
She needs to lose 5 to 10 pounds.
They're all fat.
And I'm not about to go and get too specific, but there was no real talk about like wellness, health, fueling your body with the right foods. That was not a thing. It was more like, you know, again, like I had that Britney Spears example, like cutting women down for having normal bodies. This was so common. Like, did you guys ever watch what's it called? Bridget Jones' Diary. The whole entire thing was like she was weighty and she, this and that. I forget how they worded it, but it's like she wasn't. If you've ever watched the movie Love Actually, one of the characters was people were saying that she had extra weight and she didn't. Like just it was such a high standard that was the expectation about how women specifically were supposed to look like, and it was in the worst possible way, that high expectation, like, it was bad. Again, no real conversation about nutrition, it was how to get your body to be the smallest, tiniest it can possibly be, that's all that matters. Consuming as few calories as possible, not the actual calories that your body needs to live. And, over the years, I've seen a lot of women who are, my age or around my age or older now, sort of talking about how that's when they started, you know, again, wanna tread lightly in this conversation, but when their ED started, when they started overusing laxatives, when they started, whatever because of what was being pushed out by the media, and this again was before social media. Now add in social media, it's like we cannot escape it. And again, just to be clear, as far as the laxative conversation, we talk about everything here on my channel, don't we? But uh, I'm not talking about people who are using it for its intended occasional purpose or someone who's working alongside their doctor. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about people who are overusing them to again, what this product is claiming to clear themselves out, like, that's a normal thing to be doing, like, completely clearing yourself out every single day, like, nothing left. That's what I'm talking about. And again, when I'm hearing this wording being used around these cutting jellies, it's like the red flags start going off for me because I've seen what can happen. I've heard stories of what can happen, and in my opinion, these jellies, the way they're being marketed, what they're promising and what they're encouraging, I just feel like we're treading into dangerous territory. Instead of, influencers using their platforms to promote balanced eating, balanced wellness trends, or even just being honest about how they got to where they are with their body, they're just pushing hacks and quick fix products. And again, in my opinion, a lot of this just it doesn't do anything except not all of it, but a lot of this is doing nothing good. It's just encouraging unhealthy and sometimes straight up toxic wellness habits. Habits that can grow into scarier things for people for years to come. Like diet pills they were not good for us in the early 2000s. And now why are we repackaging this as like a wellness trend, something that's good for your gut? Please. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like a lot of people, they're using, like, buzzwords, like, to get people to click the links, and people are feeding into it because it's a Korean wellness product, right? That's what it's being marketed as. And, a lot of people have had luck with Korean skincare, so they're probably thinking like, Well, that worked. So, of course, this is going to work. And here's the thing, cutting jellies, they did originate in South Korea, which does have one of the lowest obesity rates in the world. So I think people, they kind of start doing some mental gymnastics like, okay, if people in South Korean look this way, I want to look this way. So it must be this magical jelly. All I have to do, nothing has to change except I just add this jelly to my daily routine and I'm going to look like that in such an effortless way. And this is all good. This is good for my gut, guys. This is gut health. Gut health is so important, right? And it is. We can get into a whole entire video about all of that. I'm not an expert, but I'm just saying that's what I'm seeing people kind of justify these type of things as. But here's the thing, and I think the thing that people are missing is the bigger picture with that mindset of like, well, if it's from South Korea, like that's all I have to do, right? And first off, if something is too good to be true, you know how it goes, right? You know the rest of that saying. But people in South Korea eat way less processed food. They walk a lot more than most Americans, and they, in general, eat smaller portions. And even if people, in South Korea are consuming these jellies, the jellies are not going to cancel out a bad diet, right? They're not going to just like magically make it so it's as if you walked on the treadmill and picked up some weights. It just does not work that way. I feel like people would actually they could have some really great results if instead of jumping on the buzzwords and the trendy things that are selling on TikTok Shop, if they actually studied some of the habits that people in South Korea are doing to maintain their health and wellness, the movement, the better quality food, less processed foods, they probably would have better luck than if they were to just suck down a jelly and hope for the best. And I think that's a big takeaway, right? Even if these jellies were completely harmless, and I don't think that we can say that honestly with the information that we do have. But say they were harmless, right? They were harmless. They didn't really do anything good or bad. They were just harmless, right? Let's go with that just for the story, just for the video. I feel like it's just a band-aid on a bigger problem and it's contributing to a bigger problem. They're a gimmicky wellness trend preying on people looking for the next quick fix. Sure, you might lose a pound or two of water weight, but what the product is actually doing is lining the pockets of the influencers pushing it. And again, it kind of just feels like history repeating itself from like the crazy toxic stuff we were seeing 20 plus years ago, even what we were seeing 10 years ago. It's just like another phase of the toxic wellness trends. I don't know what to really call it. But basically, it boils down to having people consume as few calories as possible instead of the calories it actually needs, treating it as a one size fits all approach when all of our bodies are different and every single body has different needs. It's like trying to be the smallest, tiniest version of yourself with no care in the world of the potential consequences that could come from the way that you went about doing that. I don't know. It's wild to me that we're back there. Again, even 10 years later, we're back. It feels like to the 2016 diarrhea tea. Anyone? Anyone victim to that? I wasn't, but I heard some stories. I heard some stories. But anyway, I think that's where we're gonna leave it for today. I could go into more. It's actually a topic that I am very I would like to delve into a little bit more, just kind of with seeing things repeating themselves in a different type of packaging. Like I think that it is an important conversation because again, when I was seeing this and I was seeing what it was promising, I was like, boy, I'm going back to like 2004 here and then 2016 with the teas. And I'm like, are we really as a society back to this? Really? At this point, I feel like those of us, right, who have seen these trends come and go, we know friends who have participated in the trends and have not had great results and different stories. We've all seen it or maybe lived it. It's like it's on us. It's on us to call out these trends for what they really are and maybe in the process save some people's wallets and their stomachs. Anyway, if you're still here, please hit that thumbs up button. It does help out a lot. Thank you as always for being here, and I will see you guys in my next video.